Welcome everyone to episode 18 of Video Game Book Club. I'm Tubby Mora, and today I am joined by my good friend Nakuso. Say hello, dude.
Yeah, it's going.
All right, sick. All right, this time around we are going to be focusing on Super Mario 3D World. Nakuso and I played the game entirely online using the Nintendo Switch's excellent online service that has no flaws whatsoever. And the game was developed and published by Nintendo and was originally released on the Wii U on November 21st, 2013. And just as a heads up, we will be talking solely about Super Mario 3D World in this discussion video, as Bowser's Fury will be getting its own discussion video. So, on Super Mario 3D World's official website, it reads, Team up! I freaking hate this. Team up for a positively adorable adventure. Paw, as in spelled P-A-W-S. And Bowser is up to his old tricks again, and only Mario and his friends can save the day. Use power-ups like the Super Bell, which grants cat-like abilities like climbing and scratching to overcome Bowser and his minions. But that's how the website describes the game. How would everyone here describe the game? Question 1. Describe the game in one sentence.
All right, so I would describe Super Mario 3D World as an isometric take on a familiar game we all know and love. It's pretty much a expanded version of 3D Land. It expands on the ideas and unique gameplay while incorporating some new ideas into the mix. There are some interesting choices in this game compared to previous quote-unquote main titles, since this was originally on the Wii U to the Switch. So it was I would say it's definitely it's a game. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking. It's just a joke. It's a pretty fun, unique game that brings back power-ups, that we all know and love from the older Nintendo games in a unique way. And it expands on some of those power-ups and makes it pretty fun and interesting with the co-op features and unique combinations between all the characters. Next.
And that was one heck of a sentence. What? All right. It is a game filled with fun, frantic 3D co-op multiplayer goodness, and it is a chaotic good time best spent with friends. And there's more to it, but we'll get into that later in the video. Next. Question 2. What are 3 things you liked about the game?
One thing that I liked is the power-ups. You have some cool power-ups that like the mushroom, a standard mushroom fire flower, but they bring back the Tanuki.
Hell yeah.
And also they have not the hammer, the Boomerang Bro power-up. So those are some pretty cool, unique ones. And then we can't forget about the cat power-up, which was introduced in 3D Land. Definitely one of the most unique Mario power-ups. Similar to, I believe, wasn't there like a bee in Galaxy?
Yeah. The cat suit's much cooler though.
Okay.
For sure.
Like I didn't play it, but I just remember that being unique for that game. So for this one, that Katsu, being able to crawl up environments is just something that's pretty cool. Attacking in the air and then having some weird interactions, falling down platforms, especially when you play this game in co-op. I think all the power-ups have some unique interactions, especially like when you lift someone up with a fire flower. Then they can shoot while you're running. I wish they did more combinations with the power-ups, like while you're stacked together or something like that. I think it would have been pretty cool.
I'm just wondering, I know you can lift people up, but can you lift someone up and then someone lifts you up? I know it was only me and you who played it, but I'm curious, because if they implemented that as a feature, that'd be pretty hilarious. You literally just have a tower, and then all these people just throwing stuff.
I'm pretty sure, I've seen it before. You could have multiple people stacked.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been really funny. I could see some really interesting things, happening in there. You can't really screw each other up too much.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
But the power-ups, this gives, I just like how they reintroduce the Tanuki and stuff I kind of like wish they had the leaf in here or the cape. That would be
Oh,
interesting to see how that would work.
yeah. Honestly, that's what I
You know?
thought the Tanuki suit was. Like when I first picked it up, I thought you could do that little glide feature.
Oh, yeah.
That was
I
the cape,
mean,
wasn't it? You said.
no. I mean, you can like hover in Super Mario Brothers 3 with the Tanuki suit. You can like fly and then like for a certain amount of time. I
Oh,
guess they just didn't
gotcha.
want to introduce it because it kind of would break the level if you had that.
True speed run. The
So in
glider.
this one, instead they have it so you're just hovering and then falling down slowly. That's what they
Gotcha.
have in like, yeah, I think all the ones besides Super Mario Bros. 3. I'm not entirely sure, but regardless, yeah, the power ups are some of the ones that we remember. They're pretty fun. It's cool how they interact in this environment, like throwing a fireball through a pipe, then you see it go through the translucent pipe and travel.
That
They
was very
also have
sick.
enemies that can do that too. So it brings up some new mechanics that happen in some of the levels to incorporate, especially now that all the enemies are basically have like the same powers that you have. So some levels, especially later on, can get hectic
Oh
with
yeah.
that. All the power ups. Next.
Okay, so one thing I liked about the game, and it's probably the obvious one, is the fact that it is co-op. It is a full Mario game. It is co-op, and it could definitely get hectic at times. I mean, we only played with 2 people, but on the Wii U version, I remember trying this game out with my cousins when it first came out for a little bit, and yeah, it is very very hectic. In fact, sometimes you don't even know what's happening because there's just so much crap happening on the screen. But you know what? It's just like games like this. That's it's a fun party game. It's a fun little romp through the Mario world with multiple people, and it was nice that they, especially after all of the what are those called, New Super Mario Brothers games, the 2D one where they had a multiplayer. Like it was cool that they kind of diverged from that formula and tried it in a 3D space. I don't know if it works better as a 3D game compared to a 2D game, but all I know is it's fun nonetheless. Highly recommend playing it, especially if you can gather up a group of friends. I don't know how well it would work if all 4 people are trying to use the Switch online, because even just me and
Oh,
Nox,
shoot.
so our online experience was a mixed bag at best. Well, you're right. This is supposed to be things I liked about the game. We'll get into that later. Either way, optimal way to play it: gather a group of friends, play it locally if possible, and you'll have a good time. Next.
The second thing that I enjoyed, this is pretty typical of all Nintendo games. Wow. This is pretty typical of all Mario games for the first part. And that is the clean visuals and graphics. You know what?
What?
Despite us joking all the time about it can run on the Switch, I would say all the Mario games all look clean. They all have good visuals. They
That
all
is true.
run
That is true.
at 60 FPS. Like there's like nothing ever wrong with like Mario titles in terms of visuals.
Mm-hmm.
And despite some of the weird lag that we had online, but I think that was mostly due to like the online. That's not the game. There wasn't any like actual slowdown from what I noticed.
Yeah, it's true.
And yeah, I mean, there's nothing else much to say about the visuals. They're like the standard that we've seen in previous games. This one is just a little bit better looking than the Wii U version, and obviously better than the 3D Land version
Oh,
that came before it.
oh yeah, for sure. That's great.
Next.
That's crazy though. I can't believe they got a Wii U game to run on the Switch. That's just.
Uh-oh. Oh,
It's
shoot.
sorry. These are things we liked. Okay. Yeah. So, hold up. This list is dwindling. The next thing I liked about the game. Okay. All right. I got to focus. The next thing I liked about the game, and this is a big spoiler, by the way. So if you want to skip ahead a little bit, feel free to do so now. I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. The thing I liked about the game was Rosalina as being an unlockable character. Honestly, that right there was probably one of my biggest highlights from playing this game, because I actually thought that it would just be the basic 4 characters. I didn't even think it was plausible or even possible for them to add a 5th. In fact, the moment Rosalina appeared, I don't know, I started getting excited, and I was like, yo, Nakuso, what if they add like Donkey Kong, or what if they add like Wario or something? Just got really excited. And then, of course, we played more of the post game, and the excitement started dying down. But this is still the things you liked about the game section, so I'm going to focus on that. But yeah, Rosalina was definitely a huge addition for me. Like, hands down, I'm declaring it right now, probably my favorite side character from the Mario universe. I love the Galaxy series, and it was just great seeing her here. And she is a little OP. I'm not gonna lie, her ability to do that spin just gives you so much distance when you're traveling. Most of the time it helped, but other times it was a detriment to our team. But you know what? It was all in good fun. So I quite enjoyed it. So yeah, that was one of the best surprises in the game, Rosalina, and hoping if they ever make another one, they really experiment with the fact that there could be other potential side characters to unlock. Next.
So the last thing that I liked is the music.
Nice.
A lot of the
Love it.
Main theme. Also, like always, Mario games have some of the coolest snow level themes, like very calming and soothing when playing through it.
Very relaxing.
And then they also have the boss music, which is actually pretty cool, like the Bowser music, especially when you get to like the post game. I really wish we could talk about Bowser's Fury, because that's when music is good. Anyway, as for everything else, it's pretty. It has some I like some of the incorporation of some jazz.
Yeah,
you don't really see that much.
That was nice.
In Mario games. Yeah, the only one other Mario game I can think of that incorporated, I think, was Odyssey, and some of the songs.
So that is true. Thing. Odyssey had a lot of different like music genres in each of the levels. So it was great.
I'm kind of running it.
this like list. I think we're giving the impression that this game sucks.
No, it doesn't. No, it's fine. Next.
Oh, okay. That's it. That's all you had. Okay. All right. Let me check out this list. It's this is a list. Okay. Let me think. All right. Here's one.
Oh shit.
Okay. Listen, if you guys are listening still to this part of the discussion video, it's a good game. Yeah.
Are you sure? You said they got a gun to your head.
No, it's good. Evident by our intro. Not so you're happy to be here, right?
Yeah.
All right. I love that enthusiasm. Okay. So another thing I liked about the game is this is actually probably one of the most exciting parts about the game, were the gauntlet style levels, where like if you fail, you start from the beginning. So in the game, there are certain areas or certain levels where the moment you start it, you have to complete each level in rapid succession. And I think there's like usually 10 parts to it. And I don't know what it was, but it was just that excitement of knowing that if you fail, it comes at a cost. And that cost being you start from the beginning because you need to get good. Like, I don't know if we're just like, we just enjoy suffering or something, but just having that additional level of excitement, like it really, I noticed that we were having like a lot of the fun that we're having in this game was because of those gauntlet style levels. It's just, it changed it up enough to keep us interested and entertained. And there were a lot of like cool, unique challenges, especially when they applied that gauntlet style level to the bosses. Like there was a boss rush as well towards the end of the game. Like that's like post game content, but even like stuff like that, those small changes to the standard Mario formula was very refreshing. It was enjoyable. It was actually a bit of a challenge, and I really enjoyed that part. And yeah, that's all I got. I mean, there's some other things, but let's not beat around the bush here. What are 3 things you did not like, and how would you improve it?
All right. Man, let me look at this long. I'm sorry, it's not long.
This long laundry list.
I'm joking. Kinda. All right.
All right, go
So, man, which one? This is a good one that I noticed while playing, and it was pretty detrimental. And then I also looked it up. So the controls for the platforming
Woo!
feels floaty, and I looked it up. Other people had the same issues, and I believe it was changed from the Wii U version. One thing that they changed is they made the movement faster,
Mm-hmm.
but that kind of messes it up because a lot of the things that you can do in this game, it feels like you over jump a lot of stuff. You notice that?
Yeah.
Like we over
Sure.
like I know like
What?
that perception or
Oh,
depth
yeah.
perception isn't the best, but it's not that bad.
It's right here in the comments. Man, get better eyesight.
But it's like a lot of the jumping, like you over jumping, and it's like something is just wrong with the physics when moving forward. I especially noticed this as we played well, not sequel, but Bowser's Fury. They
Oh, yeah.
completely changed like the controls. For this one though, yeah, I just noticed that I will over jump stuff. Yeah, a part of it is due to the online, so it adds a little bit of latency.
Yeah.
But I also played a bit of it in single player. And I also had that feeling like the jumping does not feel right. And I would like overshoot just a little bit on certain things. And then the way that the camera is kind of positioned, it's kind of hard to see where you're going to jump to sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like the shadow doesn't show up as quickly as it should. I'm not sure. How did you feel about the controls?
I mean, the controls. I don't know. Like, especially playing this game and then Bowser's Fury back to back. I don't know. It just felt more limited. But you're right. Like, it did feel floaty. It didn't have like that snap when it came to the movements, like the really precise movements. And a lot of it really is the I think really has to do with the camera too. Because at least in Bowser's Fury, you have complete control over the camera, whereas this game it's fixed, and it's just I don't know. It just something felt off.
Like the
With
momentum.
the
You have
movement.
too much momentum too, right?
Yeah, like the momentum, like even in Bowser's Fury, like one of the shoot, I gotta be careful because like there's stuff I want to talk about, but let's just say the momentum is well handled in Bowser's Fury compared to this game. Like when you run, when you stop, and you're changing speeds, the game does a better job in Bowser's Fury than compared to here. It's like in this game, like what you have like maybe 3 different speed cycles that you can roll through, but it just doesn't. Something just seems off with the movement. And it's good thing you mentioned that. What do you know why they changed the movement scheme from the Wii U?
No idea. I guess they thought it was too slow.
So they try to artificially speed it up or make it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know why. I thought it was fine. Maybe they sped it up because they're not using the screen as much, so they think it might be too slow. Because maybe the reason they had it that slow is because you had to alternate between the screen using the touchpad for the obstacles and stuff.
That doesn't make sense. Hmm.
This feels like that momentum is weird because I noticed when we were running in some of the levels, like over those what speed pads, when you
Mhm.
try to like reverse, it takes like I don't know 2 seconds to like stop and turn the other way and start running forward again.
Yeah, that's true. Like you really didn't have control over
Yeah,
those segments. And also, it feels like I don't know why, but the platforming when it came to 3D World, it felt like I had to be even more careful, like more subtle in my approach to my movements. Like I really had to be thinking when I made these more precise jumps. Whereas like in Bowser's Fury, it's so responsive and so planned out that you don't even think anymore when you're doing the movements. I don't know. It's just there's a mixture of things. There's something up with that movement, and it feels weird.
Next, I'm done. I'm good.
Okay, so for me, and I know this is asking for a lot, but the fact that it is a co-op game, fundamentally, I mean, this is the reason why a lot of people play this game in the first place. I really wish they designed the levels with co-op in mind, like have the players work together. Now I know it's difficult because it's like, oh yeah, how do you know if there's going to be 2 players, 3 players, or 4 players? But a good way to solve that, and this is what another game did, which is N Plus, is they designed 2 separate groups of levels, one for single player and one for
That's a lot of work. Whoa,
multiplayer.
calm down.
Well, hold up. But with the single player group of levels, you can still do what we did, right? You can still play single player, or you can play with a group of people. But when they designed the levels, it was focused with single player in mind. But you can't have people play it. For the group of levels, like the co-op levels, they should design it with at least minimum of 2 people in mind. Because I mean, we kind of saw it, Nakuso, like when we were playing some levels.
Yeah, there were some things where 2 people were not required, but it made it easier.
Right?
Or
yeah. Because when you really think about it, has Nintendo ever attempted a 3D platforming game with co-op in mind as the foundation of it? Not really.
It's from what I can tell.
It's always been like a single player experience with tacked on co-op on top of it. And I feel like if they ever make another Super Mario game, I really wish they would take the approach of at least playing it, or at least creating levels that have had co-op in mind. Because it's really clear and evident that this game, they didn't really think about it too much. I mean, there may have been some thought about incorporating multiplayer elements, but it's like it doesn't. Something's like off, and this became even more clear to me when we started playing It Takes Two. Like the difference between, I know they're 2 different games, but it's just like seeing that game do so well when it comes to co-op, because co-op was built in mind compared to this game. It made a clear difference, and I really hope they consider that in the future. Even if they don't want to design a full campaign off of it, even just maybe make a couple levels that are just co-op, just so we can like see what it would look like or what it would feel like. Because I think Nintendo has the capability of doing it if they really wanted to put their mind to it. And I would love to see them try to tackle a true co-op platformer. But yeah, that's my thing. Next.
Okay, second one is the post game, actually. and this is like nothing. For me, this is like a very specific one.
Okay.
So in order to play the final, I think 5 levels, you have to get all of the gold flags and stickers in every level up to the end. And me and Tubby like played literally I would say 95% of the game. The only thing that we didn't do is like clear like probably like 12 or 13 levels getting the stickers and the golden flag. So at the end, we couldn't go into like the final. I think it was what's this called? It's not Star Road. It's gosh, I forgot.
I don't remember, but that was disappointing, dude.
Yeah, that was like really sad when we got to that point. It was like great. Like I feel like the post world definitely introduced a lot of cool things that I don't know you might talk about. Mm-hmm. But for me, having this, not wanting to go back and do like all the gold, like getting the, like I would say the stickers okay, but then having to get the gold flag in each of the levels, and some of the times you might mess up and you had to replay the level. I guess you can technically start halfway through the checkpoint, but I don't know. I just don't like when things are like locked in that way.
Yeah, like that is so specific.
I think getting all the stars should count towards
completion.
The playing all the levels. And then if you want to do all the gold and stickers, so maybe you get like a new character that you can play or something.
But deliberately locking the levels behind something like that, like, oh my god, that was so disappointing. Like we were getting so excited too after the whole boss gauntlet. We're like, oh man, there's another area. Oh, this is great. and then boom, just found out. Oh, by the way, you know those stamps you've been ignoring, or you haven't been looking for, and those flagpoles. Yeah, you have to go back and take a look at those again. Seriously, because you're right. In previous Mario games, it's always been as long as you collect the stars, that's enough to get you to the actual post game, like the actual all the end game content. And like just this didn't feel good. It didn't feel right.
I'm not sure how it was. Did you do all the content in 2D Mario games on the Wii? Like the new Super Mario Brothers? Did that have the same weird stuff or?
It may have, but I mean, the moment I finished the game, I was already done. I'm like, I don't want to play this anymore. I was like, oh, that was fun, but nothing to really entice me to go back. Yeah, it's just a shame. But like another way they could have done that too, right? Let's say, you beat the game, you get to that point. Another thing they could have done was they could allow you to start midpoint of the level instead of starting it from the beginning. Like that would have been a quality of life change too, to help make it not as painful.
And hey, there is something that happens in Bowser's Fury but we're gonna talk about that later.
Yeah.
All right. So that's what I think about the second one. Next, what do you think about your second dislike?
Okay, my second one. It kind of leads into what you were saying about the post game stuff, but I'm going to be focusing more on the difficulty pacing. Like, I know, I know this is supposed to be a quote unquote kids game, right? I mean that's how they advertised it, but it's just like at some point you would think these Mario games would, like, as great as they are, you would think that they would get better with their difficulty pacing. Like, sure, okay, World 1, World 2 teaches you the basic mechanics and you start to pick up on how the game works. But by the time you're getting to World 6, 7, and 8, it's like you should really bump that up a little bit and help reinforce what you learned from earlier worlds. And what's weird was there were levels where Noxo and I played where they actually presented a fair bit of challenge, especially the post game stuff, like the very first post game world you go to. Like I remember we were actually legitimately dying, and we were like, "Man, this is great." It's like it's bumping up the challenge, but it's not too hard, so it's it seems fair. But then the moment we got past that first post game world and we went to the second one, for whatever reason, the difficulty scaling just dropped completely. Because of what? It went from like Star World to what, Mushroom? Or something?
Oh, it's Firefly than Mushroom.
The Firefly than Mushroom? Yeah, but the first one was Star, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just like after that Star World and we went to the next one, I'm like, man, what is going on? Game just became easier and it didn't feel like there was any post-game stuff. Like it didn't feel like a true post-game difficulty, and that was definitely disappointing. I feel like that's one thing that these Mario games don't do well on is the difficulty pacing. As cool as the ideas sound, it doesn't feel right. Whereas, like, let's say,
I'm not gonna say. Never mind.
Oh, what?
Not gonna say. I'm gonna say, but Bowser's free. I can't talk about it.
Nah, sorry, that's another one.
Okay.
But just like Donkey Kong Country Returns and Tropical Freeze, it's like it starts out easy and then it gets challenging, but it's like it ramps up the further you get into the game. And I really wish Nintendo would stop. Here we go. Would stop babying their player base, because a lot of the people who are playing these games, grew up on Mario, grew up on this nostalgia. Please respect your players. They are skilled enough to get through this. And even, you even add the whole Tanuki suit, which is cool, for people who are struggling. But it's like, come on, give us a little bit more when it comes to the difficulty of these games. That's all I'm saying. Sure. But yeah, that's my thing. Difficulty pacing all over the place. Next.
My third one, wow, kind of went to yours.
Oh, no, go ahead. Let him have it.
most most of the fun
Yeah.
came
Say
from
it.
the post world.
Nice.
Also, but there were some unique levels in the earlier worlds. Like the first one
the boo one.
had the yeah, like I like the boo levels. Those are actually pretty interesting with the headlights on your head make them disappear and stuff. Also, I think the later worlds, some of the boo levels presented a decent challenge with the
Yeah.
platform. And I would say that there are some really cool things, like unique stuff, like the shadow, like this limbo looking levels that they have.
Mhm.
They have like a few in there. I like that stuff, but I feel like most of the good idea, dang, that's messed up. Most of the
Uh,
better ideas
okay. Good choice of
were
word.
presented in the final. I would say like the last world, like the Bowser world, and then the post world after that. They
Yeah,
added
I
really
agree.
cool stuff. Like I like the whole fire level that we played that was challenging, where we had to roll on this.
Oh my
What was it? It
god.
was like it
Yeah.
was like a cylinder that we had to roll on all the
Mhm.
way down the level, and then there was like some pretty tough jumps with like fire coming, and you had to like actually kind of keep up with it.
Oh yeah.
I was surprised like at that type of like uniqueness, but also like the challenge. So I feel like most of that was in the last world. While the other earlier worlds, like you
I don't
said,
even remember.
I remember like the poison level, which
Yeah.
was interesting, and you had the standard grass roads, and it's like some of the stuff you can see that they incorporated into the next game that they came out with this version. But a lot of the stuff, it was kind of it's pretty resident sleeper, as the kids say.
Ooh. Dang, brutal.
Oh, hey,
Ah, you right though.
hey, I like the game looks good, but
Yeah.
it's like it's, it's boring.
There you
It's like,
go. That's the word.
you know what?
Boring.
The
Oh.
bosses too.
Uh
They, they were like so basic. Like you just had three heads. It's like every Mario game, but I feel like this one you could like at least like I don't know if you have like if you can find this specific gameplay where we're like crouched in a corner doing backflips over it. I
Was this
think
the
we
one
could
when he
just
was
stand.
like spinning?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
when that's Morton. I don't even know. When like you could just like stand in a corner and backflip, and then it's like it does. Even when you fight the later ones in a standard world, you can still pretty much do the same thing.
Yep.
And if you have like power ups, you're pretty much broken at that point.
Yeah.
I wish they would like if you have like what if they have like more people, add
Mhm.
more challenge or like add more mechanics or add an additional Koopa kid or something.
I don't know, something to change it up.
But this is God.
Honestly, the
I mean,
only mini boss I actually remember, and that's because it was different from a lot of Mario games, was the remember that one where he creates towers and you have to climb it
oh
using the
yeah.
cat suit? Just like that by itself was like that's probably one of the more
Actually, I don't
challenging.
mind. I don't mind like the. I was talking about more about the like mid bosses. I
Yeah.
didn't mind the final bosses of the world. I thought they were pretty cool, especially like they were when they were used in the last world. Remember we had the
Mhm.
boss gauntlet where they
Oh
made it
yeah.
actually harder,
That
and there
was
was like a
great.
time limit. See, that was like all the challenge and fun
All
stuff
the good stuff was placed at the end.
just placed at the end. And I get it. They want everyone, since like you said, it is a kids game. They want you to complete it, and they want you to, get to the post row, and then that's where they give you the option.
I
But I
guess.
feel like, come on, I feel like kids are, are
Are-
definitely not that bad at
yeah,
games.
dude, that's what I'm saying. I'm like,
I feel like
Nintendo,
the challenge is for like
your
7.
audience.
I mean, technically, I guess it is for, but
Yeah, it's like they need to trust in their audience more. Like, yeah, you're gonna have a mixture of kids and adults playing this game, but like they're smart. gamers are not dumb. They know how to navigate this stuff. Yeah.
I don't want to go too off topic, but since you played this, it's kind of important to the topic, bro.
Which one?
Was Galaxy a better
yes
difficulty curve? Okay.
Yes, for sure. Like the game by itself was like a good balance between difficulty and just playability. And then the moment you hit the post game stuff, it's like they played with a lot of interesting ideas, and it still provided a fair bit of a challenge. Like you can't turn off your brain and just walk forward and then nothing happens. Not like this game. Like you actually have to like think a little bit. And you know what? That's we're not asking for much.
Maybe it's only this game and the new Super Mario Brothers games that have this issue. I don't think the other Mario games have it too much, huh?
Yeah, I really don't think so. Because during this era when this game came out, with the Wii and Wii U, they were really playing towards the casual market. So maybe that's why they kind of like bumped down the difficulty of everything even more.
Yeah, I see.
So I don't know. Nintendo, it's just like trust in your players, man. We're not
this game. I think the other games are actually challenging.
Yeah. No. But yeah.
Oh, too late for that. Anyway.
Yep.
I'm done.
So
next.
I think we hit the nail on the head, or whatever the saying is. I think we hit it pretty hard with the whole difficulty thing. The last thing that I'm gonna say, and of course this was addressed by Mario Odyssey, but since we're focusing in on this game, a lot of the levels felt the same, and it was kind of boring. Like you already knew what to expect. Fire world, snow, desert. It's the same thing over and over, which is very strange because when you think about it, Mario has a very expansive universe with all these unique characters and all these unique creatures inhabiting, this world. Why not actually develop levels that maybe these characters actually came from, or where they originated from? Like a world where exactly do Goombas come from? Like maybe you make a whole level based on that. Like every time I think of Goomba, I'm thinking Super Mario 64, the different size Goombas. Like something like that was just interesting enough. I'm just like thinking, you have all this quote unquote lore and this expansive universe spanning of years upon years of, Mario history. Why not step out of the box, step out of your comfort zone and design more unique levels? Like the mechanics within levels are fine. I enjoy it. I'm just like, try to twist it up and change it up a little bit. That's probably why a lot of people liked Mario Odyssey too, is just because they were seeing things they had never seen before. Like freaking Mario in the real world, New Donk City, classic. Mario taking over a freaking T-Rex, Jurassic era, amazing. Steampunk Mario, why not? So it's like, other games, it really explores these ideas, but man, this game is just so cookie cutter in how it presents its worlds. As beautiful as they look, and as amazing as they look, it's the same of what we expect. And that's why, like, every time I went to a new world, it's like, oh, Nakuso, what world do you think it'll be? And Nakuso says, it's probably going to be ice. And then we get there, hey, look, it is an ice world. How did you know? It's just more the same. It's just I'm probably going to forget about the experience.
And they had a food world, like chocolate and stuff. And
yeah,
donuts.
That was cool, though. That was cool. They kind of expanded
on
that.
That's the only one I remember.
Yeah, Odyssey, they really expanded on that.
They could have added like a Yoshi world, and then like have mechanics based around like the Yoshis and stuff for that world. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, just like,
or maybe like a Boo world,
Instead of them just always in haunted mansions. Why not do haunted Super Mall? You have all these crazy worlds in the Mario Kart games. Literally take those designs and Make it it's part of a Mario game. I don't know.
Oh shoot!
You know, put us on a haunted ship and put booze in there. Why are booze always hanging around
Sick.
mansions?
Like a moving ship level
Yeah,
that actually moves.
that's what I'm
And then there's
saying. Like
and like coming ahead, there's like booze that make different formations that you kind of have to dodge through the whole level and stuff.
yeah, it's just
Yeah, that'd be cool.
there's so many media outlets for Mario. Like the Mario Party games. You have Mario Kart. Like, just take some of those ideas and incorporate it into an actual level in these like Mario games, these platforming Mario games, and I'm telling you, it's gonna be good. They just have to just risk a little bit more, like because we're kind of at that era or at that stage where a lot of people, you know, they see the next game, they're like, oh yeah, it's your standard Mario game. But then like just remember, like look at how people freaked out about the whole Kirby thing. They're like, whoa, Kirby's in a
Remember, this was Wii U.
oh
era,
yeah, you're right.
Because remember, this is before Odyssey, which they did change it up.
They did.
Remember?
They did. That's true. That's true.
And then Bowser's Fury, that changes it up too.
Yeah,
So they definitely
I have to remember the era of this game. Maybe that's why Nintendo was struggling.
It's not like they're definitely changing. You know, like with the new games that come out, Metroid Dread, like there's a lot of stuff that they changed.
You're right. This is the Wii U era that no one remembers.
You know, like think back then. But I mean, your thing still like stands in terms of like how they could fix stuff. But it looks like you have definitely headed in that direction, which is good.
You're right. Sorry, I was a little too harsh. Like, I remember this was a Wii U era game technically. But yeah, I guess like I mean, in the end though, Nintendo did learn. Hence Bowser's Fury and a lot of these other Nintendo IPs that have kind of evolved. That's a video for another time.
I have to that because I evolved. Good one.
Okay, game wise, everything else we don't talk about that.
All right,
but yeah, next. So the last question: what is your final verdict and final rating from 0 to 10 using a 0.5 scale?
I'm going to give Super Mario 3D World an 8 out of 10.
Dang.
Despite some of the control issues, I still enjoy the unique levels, you know, the music, and the co-op definitely helped escalate this score for me.
Mhm.
So, despite the online being laggy at times, it was pretty playable, all things considered, for a Nintendo Online game. It could definitely, you know, improve in the controls and have a better difficulty curve, but it still has that Nintendo polish, you know, like no bugs or like barely any bugs, and
Yeah, that's true.
like all the visuals and in the way that the game like sounds, like the sound design, all that still top notch. I still think it's a decent game, especially if you have someone to play with it. I don't think I would play this solo, so
heck
yeah,
yeah,
that's why I'm just knocking down a couple points. But I don't think it's like bad. It's not a bad game. I can't say it's like a bad game.
Just because our con section, things we didn't like, is longer than our liked section, doesn't mean it's a bad game.
Yeah, I still think it's like it's still for
solid.
me.
It's still solid.
8.
Yeah.
How about you, Tubby? What is your final word?
Oh my god. Okay. So Super Mario 3D World is, you know, it's a great co-op Mario experience, and just like you said, it's the co-op alone that made me even want to pick it up and play in the first place. That said, there really wasn't anything that really excited me when playing the game, you know, up until the ending sequence and the post-game content. Everything felt expected. Like, once you played a Mario game, you knew exactly what you were going to get, and this really didn't feel any different. Like, again, I just wish it would attempt to change it up a little bit more, step out of its comfort zone, and with, you know, future Mario entries, it did. And this is also the reason why a lot of people like Bowser's Fury more, but we'll talk about that in another video. With that said, I'm kind of on board with you. Super Mario 3D World, like, I would actually give it an 8 out of 10. It isn't a bad game at all. It's just maybe we've been exposed to so many Mario games, and this is just another one of those Mario games. Like, A lot of these Mario games are not fundamentally bad games. They're they're good, but it's just it has to do a little bit more to make it more exciting.
Mhm.
And that's kind of where I'm at with Mario. Like unless something crazy happens, Bowser's Fury, I'm not. I'm gonna. Yeah, the score is usually going to be around the 8 mark for me with a lot of these Mario games. So yeah, final score 8 out of 10. Add them up together with Nakuso's 16 out of 20, so averaging at 80%. It's not bad, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, just double checking. Just double checking. I feel weird because it's like this 8 is probably the. How do I say this? This 80% that we're giving to this game feels like so dull. Like we've accepted it's not a bad game and we want more, but it's just like, 80%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe
Standard.
this feeling. And
It's kind of like the Pokemon, like the before Arceus.
oh,
Like an 8, like a 7.5, an 8.
yeah,
That's what you expect.
that's what you expect.
It's like it's not a bad game. You just you just want it more.
Yeah. I mean, if this was our very first Mario game, we probably would have been like, oh my god, 10 out of 10.
Oh, if this was 3D Land, which I played, before this, I would have given. I like at that time that game was like a 9
Oh, yeah.
for me because I never played anything like this. But I already played it, so 3D World is just a bigger expansion of that. So
Yeah. And from people I've spoken to, a lot of them did like 3D Land much more than 3D
yeah, I
World.
did. It had a little bit more unique mechanics, and then also had a specific thing where you play as I think Luigi.
Oh,
And you
okay.
play through like you gather like red coins in each of the levels that you beat, and the levels are more challenging. And if you die, I think there's no checkpoints either.
Oh,
So that
really?
and I 100% of that game. It was pretty difficult. Definitely, in my opinion, more difficult than 3D World.
Oh, yeah. And I heard like the levels were more focused, more. I think they were designed better
Yes,
too.
and
Yeah.
they incorporated the 3D with the
Oh my
3DS.
god.
So
Like literally one of the
it was
only games, right, to actually incorporate the 3D properly.
yeah, and that made it actually pretty cool. So unfortunately, sucks that 3D World, and then some of the fun of 3D World, some of the stuff got taken out with the touchpad. There is
Yeah.
still like you can use your Switch, and it's not the same now as the touchpad.
Jeez, with how we've talked about this game in this video, like if we didn't reveal our scores, I think a lot of people would assume that we're giving this thing low, like a low score. But
We're
that's the
not.
thing though. It's not bad. It's just
Yeah,
expected. Yeah. But yeah, that's why we give it 80% average. So yeah. Moving on. We'll stow our excitement for the other Mario game, Bowser's Fury. But anyways, let's move on to the bonus mystery question. A bonus mystery question was prepared ahead of time. No one knows who or what it is. Bonus mystery question
uh,
asker, ask us your
it's funny.
question. Who could it be? I don't know.
It's me.
Holy
Wow.
crap, dude. No way.
So, all right. This is kind of funny because this question actually links to one of your likes from earlier.
Okay.
If you could add any character from a Nintendo game into 3D World, who would it be?
Wait,
For me,
any character?
yes. Like any character from the Nintendo franchise.
Oh shoot. Okay, yeah, go ahead. I need some time to think about
Me,
this.
it's easy. Came to mind, it would fit perfectly in this isometric style. One may say that he has an isometric game coming up, and that's Kirby.
Ooh. Woo! That'd be pretty
I
sick.
mean, imagine, he sucks. He gains power from sucking.
I bet he does.
You know, okay, but it's true.
No, you're
Imagine
right.
like
You're
being
right.
able, like, you could, instead of like jumping on enemies, being able to suck them in and absorb their power, that would actually be pretty cool. Especially like with the uniqueness that happens in the Kirby games and also Smash Brothers.
Mhm.
Having that probably would elevate the combat more because it would make it more interesting. Not to mention, he would fit with the aesthetic of 3D World. You know, he has his foldability, and you know, he likes eating candy, and you know, candy makes him invincible. You know, like everyone else. Like when we eat candy, we feel invincible.
Heck yeah.
But other big thing that, and then it also occurred to me just because of the new Kirby game that comes out next month, next month. Like it has a kind of same style, so I was like wondering, wow, yeah, 3D World. It would be cool if they implemented different unlockable characters. I think that would be sick.
That would be sick.
But for me, Kirby fits perfectly. How about you?
So you're saying like if we were to grab the 3D World game and place it in
does the 3D World if you have 3D World, then you could just take a character from another Nintendo game and put it in there.
Oh, okay. God, that's too hard. This is a hard question. Like I want to say Samus, but that's kind of cheating. It's a gun. Okay. A plausible one that they added Rosalina. Honestly, I mean, we've already seen Luigi. We've seen Wario implemented, even Yoshi to an extent. Honestly, I would like to see Bowser playable.
Oh, Bowser fighting himself.
Yeah, Bowser, or even just like make a set of levels where you're playing as Bowser and you're just wreaking havoc on the Mushroom Kingdom.
Then you have Mario, you know, as the boss.
Yep, Mario would be, it'd be like a reverse. I think
that'd be crazy.
I think it'd be pretty cool. Because I mean, like, how often do you get to play as Bowser in these games? Like what? Oh, spoiler alert! What? Like in the end of Super Mario Odyssey? Like that was like the only time, and that was the best time. But yeah, I would really like to see Bowser being playable because I think it'd be pretty interesting to see how they would incorporate his kit into this game. And yeah, just sometimes you gotta pummel Mario a little bit. You gotta show him who the superior brother is. No, he's
Luigi.
Yeah, clearly Luigi. So he has to be taken down a notch, and then Luigi's the one that has to face off against Bowser.
I mean, Luigi always says Mario, so
yeah. Or if they didn't want to take that route, since the Luigi's Mansion world is already exists, it'd be cool to see Super Mario 3D World focusing on like a bunch of levels revolving around Luigi's Mansion, like those special type of ghosts that he encounters, like especially the boss ones. I think it'd be pretty cool, and it's doable. I think it's very doable for them. But yeah, that is my answer. Thank you for the bonus mystery question. I like it. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Okay. So that concludes this episode of Video Game Book Club. Thank you for tuning in. And as always, everyone's links to their YouTubes, Twitches, Twitters, and social media will be in the description box below. Take care. Have a good one. And we'll see you in the next episode of Video Game Book Club where we talk about the superior Mario game. But yeah, say goodbye, Nakuso.
Goodbye, Nakuso.
All right, goodbye, Nakuso.
Track you down and hear the truth coming straight from you. Never knew where you had run your only son. The child you never knew I could have been so wrong. And the only thing I'm sure I wish I never cared. If you did, you wouldn't